What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. It is April 29th. We are just approaching 11 a.m. and the SPY finally did it. It broke out to all-time new highs today. Right here on this push, right here, going up to 294.07. We'll bring over the daily right here. You can see it just pushed over it. It's crazy to believe how fast this rebound was from lows right here all the way up. It's just crazy. But we got a busy day to talk about. I mean, it's kind of slow in the market, but there's just a lot of stuff to go over. And I just can't. The SPY right now, that's just what I've been watching the past few minutes. Because this did set up a nice little pattern right here. But let's jump into this. So waking up pre-market, futures were just pretty much mixed this morning. Everything was like break even. The SPY, the NASDAQ, the only futures that was up was the Dow Jones. We got the Russell 3000 right here. Just going, I said this in the market recap, weekend market recap. The Russell 2000 or 3000 is just primed and set for just an explosion up. And I feel like at any moment now that the Russell 2000 is just going to get that push and it's going to take off. Here it is, the Russell 2000. That was the Russell 3000. Here it is right here as it's approaching this resistance line right here at 1,602. Anytime now, and it's got a divergence here with the moving averages. The 200-day and the 50-day are coming together. Any moment now, this thing's just going to explode. Next up, we got the NASDAQ 100. Everything's green on the day so far today. Alright, so gapping up this morning, gapping up huge was PRPO. And they just signed their first major international services contract. I just want to go over this. Look at this right here. Gaps up from 5s, hits a high pre-market of 815, and then just sells down really hard. And right at the market open, if you were watching this, on the tape, there was just so much selling and selling and selling, and it just drops from 6 all the way down to 5s, gets put on SSR. It got really, really tight. Let me get my marker. It got really, really tight in this area right here. Really, really tight in this area, forming a wedge. But then it just broke to the downside. And then this 450s area just got a nice bounce. And you could see it just reversed. And from 450s, it got a nice little grind all the way up to 560s. That's patience paying off at its best right there. Waiting for that move. Alright, so next up, ROAN. Just a nice gap and go, as you can see it here on the daily. gets a nice gap up over the 13 EMA, opens up and just doesn't look back and just going and going and going and going. From 482 all the way up to a high here of $6 now. You can just see from that area right there, gets an explosion to the upside, finds resistance like right in this area, and then starts to consolidate and slowly making higher lows, just getting tighter and tighter, and it just got momentum and pushed off. Pulled back down, got support at old resistance, and then off she went. Next up is Disney. I wanted to talk about. Ever since this big gap up right here when they started talking about their streaming platform, this has just been a great buy. Getting a good gap up from 116 up to 127 and just taking off and going and going and going. And today it hit a high of 142. So you're going to have people wanting to take their profits. And the big news with Disney is their movie Avengers Endgame just shattered it at the box office, bringing in over 1.2 I want to say billion, but I'm pretty sure that's not it. Yeah, right there. It just smashed box office records, bringing in. That's just hard to believe. With a record with 1.2 billion in global sales, that is just ridiculous. That's insane. I don't think I've ever seen a movie open up that big before. That's why when I first said 1.2 billion, I had to stop myself because that just didn't sound off. That's a lot of money. A lot. But gets a nice gap up here. Like I said, hits a high of 143. Market opens. This thing just drops from 140s all the way down to 137. But if we zoom out on Disney, this thing's just been, look at that ramp. Just up and up and up and up and up. You're going to want to have people wanting to take profits. Alright, moving on. Also, RBZ. RBZ's been popping for weeks and weeks and weeks. Very, very light volume. It can be risky. But today, this had a nice little pop up right from the open. 675 hits a high up here at 750s. And this was a big one on Friday. Friday and Thursday, this was a big one. And look at right where it came down to, too. That's just crazy. Down to this level. From 670s up to 7s. And then even gets a push up to this like 750s area. When nothing's going on in the market and it's slow, traders are like drug addicts and gamblers. They want to trade. They need to trade every single day. You know, it doesn't matter the market conditions. And when it's slow in the market, especially in the small caps, that's when you'll start to see a lot of just random low float stocks just getting pumped up, or you'll see the same stock just get played over and over and over again. Alright, so what else we got here? We also had INNT gapping up this morning. I wasn't really too excited about it. It doesn't have, let me see, it does have news. So it's one of those pharmaceuticals, and to begin with, I'm not too much of a fan of pharmaceuticals. They're a world of their own. You really have to focus and know about the companies and when they're putting out FDA approvals. There's a lot of money in pharmaceuticals, but you got to learn the world of pharmaceuticals in order to get in on it. But this had a huge gap up with the news, hitting a high of 310, and then just crapping, and now it's at around $2. Had a very just fast pop this morning from 225 up to 240, but just fizzled out. And then CYOU going from $18 today up to a high of $20.25. It's just something I picked up off the scanner right here, or the screener, that I just added it to the chart because it just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. I was looking at HRE today, pre-market, to see if anything was going to happen, because this heated back up Friday right here. This had a good day on Monday and then Friday. And you could see with small caps, it's hard to keep track and keep these small cap stocks on your watch list because volume just comes and goes in small caps. Every day is a new stock. And then HEXO, I just thought this was a great run up here from 6 all the way up to 837. Just a nice grinder on this. Look at this thing. All this consolidation right here, more consolidation, and then from 720s, boom, gets a shot up to 780s. And then today, nice little gap up and just quick spike up to over 830. Very nice play on HEXO. You can see again another great pattern with this thing, connecting the lower highs, connecting the higher lows, forming a great wedge. We've been seeing that a lot lately. We've been seeing a lot of stocks at the beginning of the day forming nice wedges and breaking up to the upside. If you go back and if you've watched every one of my market recaps, a lot of the stocks that I've pointed out in the morning, let the first half an hour go by, a lot of them formed wedges and broke to the upside. And that's just all about identifying the pattern that keeps happening. Another pattern that I've noticed keeps happening, we'll go back to PRPO real quick. And we'll go and we'll switch charts. So a pattern that I've noticed that's happening is stocks that gap up and that are the play of the day. This pattern keeps happening over and over. I've noticed it. Either stocks will have a quick spike and fail and sell off hard, or at the beginning of the day it'll sell off hard and then it'll start to bottom and go sideways and move and work its way on up to the VWAP. PRPO did it today with the sell-off, and then it starts to go sideways and starts to U-shape around, just like that. Every day at around 10 o'clock, 10:30, that's when these stocks been liking to reverse and move to the upside. So we had PRPO was one of them. MBRX from last week. Let me find it. Right here on this day. pre-market, this big sell-off right here, and then starts to go sideways, and what do you know? Starts to just grind on up to the VWAP right there at around 1030-ish, as you can see that right there. And then another one, ATOS. Right here on this day, but real quick I want to point something out. There's that morning wedge I was talking about, and that explosion to the upside. And then here's another one right here. A nice wedge, explodes to the upside. But even right here, gets a real fast, oh my goodness. If I zoom in, even right here, gets a fast pop up, falls down below the VWAP, starts to go sideways. What do you know? Right at around 1030, starts to come back up to the VWAP, reclaims VWAP, and explodes to the upside. That's 3 different stocks with the same pattern. 2 patterns forming either wedges, or the stock will sell off, and then at around 10 o'clock, 10:30, it'll start to bottom out and then start to U-shape on up. And that's the importance of being here every day to observe what's happening, picking up on any patterns that keep happening over and over and over again. If you're here every day, you'll start to notice stuff. Simply write down the biggest percentage gainers every day. And as I pointed out earlier, just a nice wedge right there too. And then it exploded to the upside. This one happened later in the day though. This one happened at like around noon. Going back to this real quick. ATHE, very fast, just pump and dump. You can see that right here. At just after the market opened, $1.64 shoots up to $2.55, falls right back down. You could see, look at that long wick. Then it tried getting higher lows, starting to want to try to U-shape on up. Volume just couldn't follow through at this $2 level, and then it just fell down. Because we're in earnings season, all the volume's still in the large cap stocks. Other than that, that's everything I've had on my watch list today. Yeah, there's nothing really else going on. That's about it. Pretty slow day in the market today. Everybody's focused on these companies putting earnings out. We have a few stocks that have been doing good today. Another good pattern here on RHE. What do you know? Another wedge. Look at that. Breaks to the upside. So I showed you guys, it was like 3 stocks that had just good wedges and breaking to the upside. This pattern's been happening over and over again in the market the past few weeks. The thing that's kind of weird though, how I play it is every month the market starts over. This is how I play it. And at the beginning of the first of every month, I really start to observing for any algos that start changing, and the market starts fresh and starts it hits the reset button, and the patterns reset. That's why momentum shifts and changes every month. But I'm telling you, start keeping an eye out for stocks. Let the stocks do what they got to do the first half hour of the day, and look for anything to start setting up a wedge like that. And these stocks been breaking to the upside after forming this wedge. Do patterns work 100% of the time? No. But this has been a reoccurring pattern that I've noticed has been happening. This one in the morning sell-off, and then bottoming out and U-shaping back up. That's been another one I've been noticing. So that's for you guys, anybody who's out there who's watching this. You're a dedicated stock market whiz if you're watching this, because not a lot of people like to watch these and put the work in. And then real quick, let's just go back to the market, do a rundown on the market. So we got the SPY right here, just broke out to an all-time new high again. It's going to be cool to see where this closes at today. This could just get momentum and just explode to the upside. Let me see where the VIX is currently at. The VIX is currently red on the day, and it's at 12.72. Normally, this is what I like to look at. We got the SPY right here, forming a nice descending wedge, or a wedge, explodes to the upside. This is a little broken pattern, but you could see it again right there. A nice wedge. It did break through it right here, but it quickly reclaimed it right in this area, and it's just exploded to the upside. Then we got the Qs. Almost looks like a reverse head and shoulders right here. You got your head right here, somewhat of a shoulder right there, kind of a shoulder there. It's a sloppy head and shoulders, or a double bottom. And then we got the semiconductors selling off today, and then just rebounding back up to the open. When you watch these indexes and these sectors, it's just crazy how they move and how they conform to charts. And then the Russell 2000. This is just getting really, really tight. You can see it broke. This was resistance right here, and now it's trying to find support at this 159 and work its way up to that 160s. Let's take a look at the sectors real quick, and then we'll call it a day. So what do we got up today? We got XLF. financials are up today the most at 1.4%. Getting a nice surge this morning at the bell. And then one thing I wanted to see was the healthcare. Healthcare was getting crushed this morning. Let's see if it rebounded, and it did. Look at that. Never underestimate stocks. Look at that big sell-off to the downside, and then it just quickly snaps right back up, giving you a V. And then it's weird too if you look at that, because PRPO is in the same sector, healthcare. So looking at the sector, you get this sell-off, and then it rebounds and runs all the way back up to the day high. Now let's look at PRPO. What do you know? Big sell-off in the morning, makes a V shape. See how that works? That's why it's important to follow these sectors and know what stocks you're trading or following, what sector it is, what sector it's in, and keeping tabs on the sector. Is the sector breaking out to new highs on the day? Is it selling off? Is it got great buying momentum? It's really important to notice small details. But alright, that's going to be enough for this one, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Join the Trading Learning 101 community. And if you go in the description down below, I got a link to the Discord group that I have here. Absolutely free. Over the weekend, I put in some more bots. So now we got traders from Twitter. I was able to get it to where in chat now we can have, so we don't have to keep looking at our phones or having multiple windows open. I have multiple traders posting stuff in the Discord room here with bots, so we can see what other traders are looking at for the day. Some of them are Modern Rock. I got Tim Sykes in there because he posts a lot of motivational stuff. Investors Live, S&B Capital, and I plan on adding more like Madass Money, maybe Deckmar Trades, Warrior Trading. I always want to know what other traders are looking at, especially gurus that have a following. But alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Alright, later everyone.